Welcome back, everybody. We are here for game number 2. And if you missed the game number 1, I suggest you rewind it back because we had a heist on our hands, Quacks. Polestar,
Mhm.
by every acclamation, were in the lead, very much in control, had the scaling, whatever labels you want to put on that game. Polestar looked like they were heading to a 1-0 lead, but one fight to rule them all. Morningstar are now in the driver's seat here on the red side. And just a reminder for everybody at home, we are fearless in our drafts here. So the champions you see next to the respective teams cannot be selected by said respected teams, which takes a lot of big pocket picks and prio picks out of the hands of, well, both squads.
Yep, absolutely. So the champions you see on the screen, not able to be picked, along with the champions that are being banned. And speaking of bans, Fiora, Olaf, Karma, Nico, Jax, Rumble taken away from left to right across the board from both of the teams, along with the ones that were already picked in the last game. And Polestar going to open up with a familiar Draven pick that has plagued the Rift since Season 14 started.
Lucian in the hands of Enthrall, Draven the Hover from Morningstar certainly would be an aggressive answer to Lucian. There's a lot of good ways to go about trying to minimize Lucian's impact, and they lock the Draven.
Huh.
So that is very, very aggressive. This bottom lane is going to be spicy from the get-go. A lot of great supports left up, especially Lucian answers. Melio and Nami, the two best, likely to be the answer for a B.
Yeah, I mean both of the you basically took the words right out of my mouth. Slayer, Lucian can be paired up with the Nami and the Melio. You can also pair it up with something maybe like a Nautilus. Should you choose to be a little bit more aggressive, try to match the aggressiveness of the Draven. But given the amount of damage that Draven does and just the fact that he has been building lethality on these newer patches, I wouldn't try to match that. I would try to play as safely as possible, try to play as controlled as possible, and not give Draven an inch with the passive and that adoration stacks to not go up.
Emilio, I think, is just so busted. So I think
Hmm.
anytime that pick gets through, you're going to love it. So much, not only in the lane for Lucian, heightening Lucian's ability with the range, but more so just the overall healing, Breath of Light, the team cleanse. Just causes a lot of issues for teams on the other side. And Morningstar, so far, if you are enthralled, you're pretty happy with how low range those first two champion picks are. The Akali early, Hitty must really want to play that Akali,
Ooh.
and it's going to be the Rel. Bit of a flex pick. I'm pretty sure Kryra has the Rel jungle in his bag, but a B can also play it, so a bit of hidden ability for Polestar as Nautilus reinforces the single target focus for Morningstar.
Yeah, I mean, having Melio and Rel in your pocket does signify a lot of ability to team fight. I think that that's kind of what Polestar are going for, and you can see Morningstar White already sort of predicting that, banning away the Orianna, taking the Shockwave away from Polestar, along with the combo it has on the Rel. You definitely don't want to be the one playing against that, but I'm kind of questioning this Rel pick because I feel like it's going to be very difficult to go into fights, especially in wide open areas, like if you have a fight in the lane with Draven being able to interrupt your crash down, along with the Nautilus being able to do the same. So Kryra really is going to have to pick and choose when he goes in and keep track of those interrupting spells that Morningstar White have in its arsenal.
And I'm sorry, Quacks, my silly brain. This is the second draft I did this. I just ignored that there was Emilio that was picked literally 30 seconds before I talked about the Rel. So yeah, I obviously Kryra was on the Rel. Interesting to see it though. I mean, in this series now, and this is if the Morningstar can go away with 2-0. Kryra, who, came up as a very damage-oriented, aggressive jungler player. His
Hmm.
Graves is well-renowned. You talked about his Evelyn. Is now playing Tank Rel and Tank Zach. So really being an enabler for the rest of the squad with Polestar in arguably their most important games as a squad so far. Interested to see how that plays out because he can't be there to get the kills here. He has to set him up.
Yep, and Morningstar White going to lock in the Vi. So a lot of pick potential coming out from the squad. Nautilus Vi, you walk up even just a centimeter too far, and you will get absolutely punished for it. Adding in the fact that there's so much damage from the Draven and Akali picks. And Morningstar White, I am really starting to favor this draft if they can get something going early on.
Vi is so high prior right now in this region. I don't like the I
Whoa!
don't
That's
get
a
this,
lock in.
Quacks. I don't get there. This is not a Katarina game. I don't really care if you're very comfortable in Katarina. I don't understand how you'll be able to really get away with much of this CC, or much of Katarina's kit. Her entire ability relies on not being interrupted with her damage that bursts out. And there's just already a ton of interruption from Morningstar White on everybody with a Zakali. Even Draven can interrupt in a Katarina ult. So Reppy's really going to have to find windows to get down a lot of this damage. And Polestar, after Kryra picks up the tank role, the rest of the squad is just pushing damage with the Aatrox as well.
Yeah, I mean, before that Katarina was locked in, I was kind of questioning where exactly Kryra would want to play for, but I don't think there's any question. And
Oh, my
Morningstar
word.
White are answering with a pick of their own. The Yasuo locked in. This is a solo queue game, Slayer. You can't change my mind.
Guys, this is game 2. Like, okay. I mean, Morningstar, they're just telling Polestar, we will match you in every degree. You pick Lucian, Draven. We're going to lock a Kali R2, and you can pick your Katarina into it. You're going to pick Katarina and Divine Nautilus, we're going to punish you. You're going to pick Aatrox top. Yuxin, is going to just punish this Aatrox again. He's now played both of the Blade Brothers in this series.
Yeah, I mean, I can't blame him. I think that both of these solo lanes, honestly, I think Soul might have a little bit of a tricky task on his hands. As a jungler myself, if I'm looking at all 3 of these lanes, I'm thinking, okay, I have to be on the map permanently and never farm a camp ever because all 3 of these lanes are incredibly volatile and snowbally. And so I think that I think that Snowball is going to be the name of the game in this second all-important match. Just getting on the map as early as possible, influencing as many lanes as possible, and just getting a nice lead early on that snowballs into something mid to late game where you just cannot match the damage of the other team.
You know, last game we had to send a TK Quacks. We had, we had a Zir. Like, we had a bunch of scaling factor champions that were involved in the game that we thought, all right, this one might get kind of quiet. It did at points, but it was still very fight heavy. The TK Senna bottom lane was going in a lot. You had Kryra all over the map as well. This game, I don't know if you're going to get any points in, Quacks. I'm going to be honest. They're just
Yeah,
going to be fighting everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it pays to be a play-by-play caster. I can't wait to have to get. I can't. It's gonna be a very interesting game. Needless to say, I think the draft definitely reflects that, and the crazy nature of Game 1, I think, added with those drafts and just these teams in general, is going to make this game very messy. I'm expecting a lot of scrappiness, which we have already gotten a lot today, not just in the previous game, but in this series that we casted earlier. So yeah, definitely exciting, to say the least.
And the question becomes, the big reason why Polestar had a real good grip on game number 1 before it all came burning down was Kryra, right? And we've already, on this recording, sung the praise of him as one of those prodigies on the up and up. This seems, though, like such a much more difficult game to have a lot of an imprint on unless he does a good job tracking Soul, which, to be honest, Quacks, at points, he really did have some super counter ganks set up to turn the tides for Polestar, so it can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it is definitely possible, but I feel like Rel might just be a little too slow for the pace that this game is going for. The comps that the comps in this game have set up for a very fast-paced, action-heavy game, and I feel like Rel is a little bit more slow in that regard. And so I think it's going to be up to Kryra to really choose whether or not he wants to get these camps down, or if he just wants to straight up pivot, maybe something like a 3-camp gank, because I think that's what Soul is going to do. Probably start the Raptors and just path straight up red into Krugs into maybe looking for a top gank or a mid gank and pathing through the river.
Early pathing, certainly going to be an extra point of emphasis here, as we do get a virtual fan start, so nothing too cheeky level 1 here. Kryra and Soul, though, both going to angle towards this top side. And Kryra's going to have an idea of it. I'm pretty sure Soul, is now going to walk out, place a ward down there. So some early intel gained, at least for Soul's path, as he's going to make me eat my words and go back towards the bot side. A late invade potentially could come through. Reppy might have to be careful here.
Yeah, Reppy's going back, Pika with the sweeper, and he's just going to do exactly what he did last game. Soul did this to Kryra last game, where he made him play a vertical jungle game. And he's going to do it again here, taking away these Raptors.
Reppy still
Reppy?
here waiting though. He's not at his lane yet, and Soul. Okay, Okay, so Reppy just watches him take the pick.
Yeah.
He takes the Raptors and loses minions. I mean, what is the gain there?
Yeah, it's certainly a decision of all time, but the game will commence regardless. There is a ward placed by Yushin, I believe, on that blue/Grom. So they are going to spot out when Kryra's moving down to those wolves. And after those wolves, I honestly feel like it is all I feel like it is all fair game. We are going to be looking to scrap with each other over and over again. You can already see Soul not even going to take away the Krugs to maybe look for a dive. He's just going to go back to his side of the map and clear his own camps.
I don't hate it. Getting a camp lead early on a rel can be impactful, but like you talked about, you want to try and look to be on the map as much as possible. The problem is that the double-edged blade about, having these aggressive lanes is, well, what you're seeing now is most of the time they're going to have shove. And Yushin in the bottom lane for Morningstar certainly do have the shove, and Reppy is about to get shoved in too as he takes a negative trade with Hitty. So sets all up for Soul to at least try and get a camp lead, and Kryra try to get aggressive early. Doesn't get the crash down. AH not with his support nearby. Stun comes across, and Thrall drops a lot of damage down, but it's just not enough of a burst yet, and they'll only be able to force a reset out of the Draven.
Yeah, really good hold there from AH, not to expend a flash or an exhaust there. He knew his potential, he knew he had the ability to get out, and overall it pays off as now he simply gets to reset, play around his tower, and his jungler is in the area, so no dive is really possible on the side of Polestar.
Kryra knows that Soul is around in the area. He also is about to find out the hard way that he's going to be down camps unless he can book it to the red side top jungle, but it doesn't look like that's possible. Maybe Soul wants to fight here. Yeah, like you mentioned, Kryra, a ton of pings on top of him, but Soul doesn't need to do that. I mean, he can just take his free camp lead, especially with the pushing wave of Yushin. It's free.
Yeah. And curiously enough, Kryra is still in this bot lane. They are really hard committing to try and make this dive work, but all summoner spells are available for the Morningstar White bot lane, so this could go bad very fast, but actually AH not in the area, so it's not even worth it at this point. No dive going to be happening.
Yeah, you at least get a CS lead for Enthralled. You lose a lot of those minions. That cannon is going to get lost, but what you lose in your AD carries farm, the lead grows for Soul. Full clears his top side. That's going to be a 3-camp lead for this Vi. And that's going to feel nice going forward when you go for those picks. Going to have those items early and be able to do damage on your own before you even have this Draven, Akali, Yasuo following it up.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit worried about Soul here because sure, while he's farming his camps, you have Void Grubs spawning in 5 seconds here, and you have not yet reset as a Vi. Meanwhile, Kryra, despite the CS deficit, he has items. He has his team with him. He has the ability to go for these fights, and a fight will break out.
Oh, there they go. The catch comes across. Good flash from Soul. Doesn't get crashed down, stunned onto him. Reppy is here. Yushin is around. The wave not going to crash just yet. Like you mentioned, Quacks, that play might create enough space for Void Grubs. Hitty has roamed up. Will be spotted out. Trying to cut Reppy back out. Reppy jumps on top of him. Good amount of damage. Kryra doesn't want to go for anything just yet. Worried about the wraparound. They're starting to pinch Kryra and Cozy in here in the river. Not many options for them to get out.
Yeah, neither mid laner has ultimate available. No player actually has ultimate available for this fight. And Kryra going to start up the Void Grubs, but he's on vision. And you can tell Morningstar White, they do not want to give this up.
Yeah, Hitty has first roam. One grub goes down. Kryra goes over the wall into the wrong side of the jungle. Dismounts. Looks like Morningstar are going to let him walk away. They'd rather take the 2 Void Grubs for free here.
Yep, 2-for-1 trade. Morningstar White managed to get more grubs at the end of the day, but Polestar with a small little lead. Reppy forced to flash. Pika going for a gank.
Easy. Standard Chad Nautilus right there. One hook, flash. All right, I'm out of here, man. Good luck, Hitty. Ooh, a dive into the knockup. Beautiful chain, but Soul, too much turret aggro. First blood going over to Cozy. He gets the reset on World Ender. What an outplay. 2 kills for Cozy. Disaster for Morningstar White.
The level up from Cozy managed to save him. He was one hit away. Yushin was about to finish him off. What an unfortunate series of events for Morningstar White. They had the right intention, but Cozy manages to get the outplay.
I think turret aggro didn't grab the minion just yet, so the turret shot came across early. Soul tanked one really quickly off the bat as Death Lotus comes out from Reppy just to push Hitty off the wave there. But that little miscalculation really fudged the dive, and yeah, the level up scoring, we've seen it all too well, and I'm sure everyone at home is seeing it in their solo games too. And now you've got an Aatrox that is scary online, 2-0, played steel caps, a pickaxe. Yushin is in for it.
Yeah, luckily Yushin did manage to get himself a plate in that reset that Cozy was forced to go on to. So a little bit of gold coming back from the Yasuo, but he is going to be the one having a hard time from here on and here out. Plated steel caps available for Cozy. Red buff acquired by the Aatrox. There's just so much damage coming out from him. But it does not matter. Yushin just wants to fight.
Yeah, Yushin drops the ultimate, gets the lethal temple procs going, knock up City. Cozy has no way out, no ultimate as well. He's gonna have to fight his way out, but the item advantage is too high. Cozy on a killing spree.
Yup, and with no teleport now, Yushin is going to be forced to lose so many minions as Cozy goes back, spends his gold, and the gold lead between top laners grows ever wider.
Make up a lot. It's going to patch up the gold lead that Soul had over Kryra. Because despite the fact it's a 3-0 game, it's only a 600 gold lead, and that's because of how much extra farm Soul has gotten. So many camps up. You get a look at it. You can see them. Most of the other lanes are up. You got about 400 lead for Hitty. Soul is up, but the big number that screams out is that top side.
Yeah, absolutely. As Kryra going to go for a potential lane gank here. You can see that the wave is being pushed by AH and Pika Pika, so they could be going right where Kryra wants them to. We'll have to wait and see, as now the wave is actually pushing back.
They're going to reset it.
Looking for something.
Kryra is certainly burning a lot of time staying here, but might have an angle.
He has the Magnet Storm.
Available. Yeah, Age is here, and there it goes. Flash crash down Magnetstorm. They want him. Age immediately flashes a draw, follows the exhaust over top. That is one dead Draven. See you later. Enthralled finds that one. Hitty, though, on the background, gets a trade onto Reppy. The Akali down, so it goes 1 for 1 at the end of the day across the Rift.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at these comps in particular, Hitty managing to get himself a kill. This Akali pick, just in general, being able to snowball on up, get around those 2 item spikes is going to be an absolute disaster for Pulse Star. They really want to avoid giving this Akali kills. That Storm Surge spike, if you will, is such a threat in the mid game.
Pulse Star certainly have the way to match it with Cozy. And something that I want to point out that we didn't get discussed too much in draft without Haywire got quacked is how I want to give credit to Morningstar White, because I think they've nullified a lot, or at least some of what the Melio can do, right? Breath of Light, that universal cleanse for the team, not going to help you with knockups, and that's kind of what Morningstar White are really relying on with a lot of their comps. So good job on that to somewhat neutralize the Melio. Obviously still going to be a problem, though, with the healing and the overall shielding that Melio can bring later in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the comp has really done a good job of mitigating, like you said, the Melio's effect with that ultimate. And not only that, but there is a lot of knockups, which does give Yushin, although behind, a lot of avenues to go in toward those mid to late game fights, giving that Yasuo a lot of chances to just get smack dab in the middle of so many members of Pulse Star. So although Yushin is super far behind in the laning phase, I feel like with the comp that you've drafted around him, you can't quite count him out yet.
They're certainly going to try and get him back in here. They overload topside. Good pink, though, from Cozy. He knows the shutdown is very valuable, and he'll back off. Pulse Star do grab 4 of the Void Mites. No Voidlands popping out when hitting turrets, but still certainly something to help chunk down those turrets a little bit quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. But AH alone in the lane, he knows that he can't walk up. He knows that he has a chance to get to Dove. So he's just going to ult the wave. Really good recognition there from the Draven. Just playing it safe on a champion that for all intents and purposes, just loves to go aggressive. I know if it was my solo queue games, that Draven will be walking up to the turret, no questions asked.
And it's important to mention that this is the most aggressive AD carry pick you can make, and AH has not really done much. He has one death to reset his adoration stacks. And if you're Draven, you kind of need gold out of lane to be super effective. You can see he barely has, he's got 111, so something big, but now he's just caught on a back, not respecting Enthralled. Good dredge line for Pika. Pika actually will save AH. The turn going to come across, Summoners used, all just to save AH at the end of the day.
Yeah, AH manages to hold on to his life, but now is forced to go onto the reset. Hitty running down. The pings are coming out from the bot lane, so they know the Akali is on the move. And so, yeah, they're just going to reset themselves. They do not want to mess with Hitty at this level. And, yeah, the game will resume as a normal.
And despite the fact Cozy is a monster in the top lane, there's a 4-1 kill lead. The CS numbers once again are scorning Polestar. They are even in gold, purely based off of what I'm assuming is mostly creep score, because I don't see many turret plates very far down right now. You've got a CS lead of 27-28 in the hands of this Vi.
Oh, hubris.
Oh my gosh.
I love the statue. I hope that we get to see it actually look cool, because so far AH is going to be stuck with a bronze statue. Let's just say that at this point.
Yeah. Nothing really tells me it's going to change. And then you also have a 30+ CS lead for Hitty. So that's why this game is a lot more deadlocked than the kill count will allude to.
As Dragon started up by Morningstar White, but you can see Kryra waiting in the wings. They're prepared to 3v3, but TP is available for Hitty if he wants to join.
Cozy as well. Morningstar going to give some space first. Double TP coming across. Yasuo not here just yet, but they get a B. They're going to try and trap the Milo. Burn him down first. Flashes over the wall.
Here comes Cozy.
But here comes Cozy. World Ender pop. Hitty wants Kryra. Kryra's already down. Cozy trying to do as much damage as possible in the backline. Enthralled is keeping the rest of the team safe. And Cozy just getting reset after reset. The World Ender is too strong. And Cozy will not be denied. Triple over to Reppy. Polestar ace.
Oh, on top of so much damage coming in from Reppy, Cozy managed to tank so much punish on the Aatrox and come out alive. The procs on the Titanic Hydra, or not the Titanic Hydra, the Profane Hydra, sorry, were so instrumental in dealing splash damage to multiple members of the team, just crowding around him, trying to kill him. And Polestar coming out on top with kills and a dragon.
Cozy was just waiting for his moment, and that Hubris statue is starting to rust. It is not looking good. Big thing as well for Reppy, he gets 3 kills, all 3 of his kills on the board in that instant, and we talked about how the Katarina could struggle to find moments. Getting a gold influx will certainly aid that.
Yep, absolutely. Nashor's Tooth picked up by the Katarina, and it's just going to get worse. We've talked, there's been a lot of talk about AP Assassins being the sort of meta thing in solo queue right now. And I mean, if you look at this game, it's not even a question. You have Akali versus Katarina. These are 2 AP Assassins that utilize those new items super duper well, namely the Storm Surge. And Reppy, Morningstar, wait, they're really going to have to try and get this Katarina down. Otherwise, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse as the game goes on.
We see Hitty, he's going for a 2v1 here, but doesn't hit the Shuriken, eating a Coling. Has to use the perfect execution to get away in the flash. Is the only thing to save him. Enthralled, now a big threat that Hitty just did not respect enough.
Yeah, I mean, that Moonstone Renewer has been unlocked by a B now, so the Milio Cozy Campfires are going to be healing and shielding for a lot more than they used to. And I think Hitty learned that the hard way, as Cozy is the next target.
Here we go, the knockup combo. Cozy World Ender gets a ton of healing. He's just not able to burn down. Dredgeline the knockup's the only way. Shutdown goes to Yushin. It took everything in the power of Morningstar, but Cozy is finally down.
Yep, they finally managed to get the shutdown onto Cozy, but now you can see Polestar with so many members committed up to the top lane. They are going to put pressure on this mid lane. AH is the only one to try and stop this turret from being taken. Has to expend the ult to do so. He will save the turret, however, so I definitely think that's a worth it trade for Morningstar White.
AH just needs to find a way to come online. It really just needs to be someone who's alongside Hitty, and Yushin getting that shutdown can be huge, but it really just relies on that chain. We saw in that fight, Quacks, that the Yasuo shows up late. Soul really didn't get a great ult down by the time everything broke out. I don't even think Last Breath was used. And if that struggle continues, Polestar are just going to push their lead further and further like they are, taking down this Rift Herald for free.
Yeah, absolutely. Rift Herald acquired by Polestar here. Mid lane turret specifically is most likely going to be the target if Enthralled cannot get this wave to crash in the next couple of seconds here. But yeah, the outer turrets starting to become the big targets for both of these teams, just trying to take them down, trying to get more control of each other's jungles, more vision for these upcoming Dragon fights, because Dragon spawning in about a minute and a half here is the next target for both these teams.
Ooh, knock up Last Breath from Yushin. Reppy jumping under their own turret, though. Able to stay safe. Yushin, though, stat checking and still starting to pack a punch. Yasuo, ever scaling. The 0-10 memes are a thing for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've all had that experience with the 0-10 Yasuo just randomly coming out for a 1v5. But I think on top of Yasuo, I also think that it's possible that AH could be in the same boat. I, for one, feel like Draven does a load of damage no matter what. No matter how far behind you put him, if you give him an angle to get a few auto attacks off onto some priority targets, those priority targets are just gone. They're 6 feet under. So while Polestar are ahead in this game, you just can't count out the damage that Morningstar White have drafted for themselves. Any one fight, we saw it last game, any one fight can turn this game on its head in favor of Morningstar White.
Without a doubt, but they're going to have to deal with Cozy, who will be a healing menace. Some heal cut completed. Well, Namicon, actually, second item here for Hitty. So he's the only one sporting it for now. I'm sure it'll be picked up potentially by Pika Pika. Maybe Yushin. They don't have a ton of good people that can run Thormail, so that will be something to look out for. Is Cozy is certainly committing to the more standard Aatrox build that lends itself to those World Ender healing resets.
Yeah, I mean, the Profane Hydra is a little bit different than what most Aatroxes would be running, but it's been working out so far. But now you can see he has the Dirk in hand, so he is going to continue with that more lethality-centric build, because as Aatrox, you already have a lot of built-in healing. You don't really have to index a lot into that stat itself. You can sort of just index into damage, because you can see he has such a good support system, both with Kryra and a B constantly around him in fights. You're never killing that Aatrox, even if he builds healing or not.
Well, here he comes, Quacks, teleporting in here.
Here comes the World Ender.
Yushin just roamed in, so he is here as well. But despite the fact Morningstar White got control of the pit, they are not willing to fight for second Drake stack. And they're going to give it away for free. With all the efforts for the warding, it all goes for naught. Just not in a position to fight this Polestar team yet.
Yeah, I mean, I love how as soon as Cozy TP'd, the entirety of Morningstar White just dipped out of the fight. They knew that they could not fight the Aatrox. Aatrox is like it's like the Warden from Minecraft. If any of you have played Minecraft, you just, as soon as you see him, you nope out of there. No way.
Yep. And we learned last game that you should also treat Baron that way if you're a Polestar. Certainly was a big crutch in their loss. Baron damage is a real thing, folks. Baron is beefed up in more ways than one for Season 14. And Cozy might get beefed down under his turret here. Oh, there's the dive. Ton of early damage. Cozy drops the World Ender. He's safe. All right. Yeah, I mean, you can't dive a Aatrox turret up.
Yeah, I mean, they managed to get the ultimate out of the Aatrox, and Hitty is still plenty healthy, so will be able to stay on the map and probably take this bot tier 1 as the last of the tier 1. Not the last of the tier 1s, there are still a couple of them left. But more gold in the pocket of Morningstar White, a squad that desperately needs it. But for all of the for the big kill difference that Polestar have created here into this game, they are only up about 1k gold. It really isn't a huge gold lead coming out from a Polestar, so I really want to know what are they going to be able to do to sort of widen that gap, because so far Morningstar White have played incredibly controlled, and it's really difficult to sort of get any water between the cracks, try to ruin their game plan at all.
Polestar are just still very confident in their 5v5. Death Lotus with Kryra, like pulling in a middle storm, and obviously Cozy, we saw what he did in the middle of the big fight. They're confident that they can handle those fights well, and Morningstar White to a degree know that too. Backing off most of those neutrals, if they have a 5v5, they need to keep looking for picks. You're seeing a ton of pings towards these side lanes looking for it. Soul's been pushing it, and that feels like their main avenue into this game. The problem is, at some point, you're going to have to go to the Baron Pit, and you're going to have to go to a Soul Point Drake take.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Dragon, still a ways away. No objective really spawning for a while, but you can see the Baron, again, still up and available. So one pick, as we've seen in this series so far, one pick can spell the difference between wanting to go for the Baron and considering it a suicide mission, as the Herald has been summoned. I honestly forgot that the Herald was even in this game. I think that Kryra probably had to force to summon it now. That's one of the many changes of Season 14, is that you just simply auto-summon it when the timer runs out. Even if you're dead, it will spawn in the middle of your base.
Single tip there from Quacks. It's not going to contest it, though. So, they get the gold out of it that you want. At least some of it. Crashes in towards that top lane. Saw Kryra also over-indexed, but Morningstar have a bit of a response here. A lot of pings coming out. They're looking for a collapse here.
Whoa.
They have a B picked. It's the Melio that's just going to get popped. AH gets the kill. Adoration cashed in on top of that.
In the back.
Cozy looking for an answer. He gets turned on, though. Last breath, the knockup. They've got Cozy. Cozy doesn't do anything in the fight, and Yushin's now been released. Crash down middle storm from Kryra. Sets up the Death Lotus. Turn after turn, and now it's Reppy's shot at Fandom. Instant triple kill. Morningstar White are wiped and completely surprised.
Hitty manages to get out, and Yushin going for the reset, but they're on the hunt. They do not want to let this Yasuo go. We're all going to spot him.
The super blast cones get him to safety, though. Still needs to run. Enthralled likes his odds chasing him. Yushin will have wind wall available if he wants to try this fight. Hitty's also roaming around the area, and Enthrall's just going to let him go, but that was just turnstile after turnstile of a fight, Quacks.
Yeah, beautifully played there by Reppy. Great patience. We were calling out the fact that Cozy was, picked off, but they used all of their abilities onto him.
All right, and Enthralled gets a kill. They went for Reppy, and Hitty once again over-indexing. More gold to Polestar.
Oh my gosh, Reppy. I'm so sorry to anyone who doubted this Katarina pick. Reppy is putting on an absolute show here in game 2. Yeah, Slayer, I'm looking at you. As we continue the game, it looks like Polestar are just continuously managing to win out fights. Morningstar White, they thought they had the pick. They thought they had the priority targets. But like a bad meme, it was Reppy the entire time. It was me, Reppy.
Yeah, to my own credit, I did say that Reppy is gonna have to look for great windows to utilize it, and Kryra set him up real well, and he found those windows. So as long as you do that, I'll keep eating my words. But despite the fact that that play went so well for Polestar, the gold lead is still close. The kill count is deceiving. But the problem for Morningstar is they have to find those picks, and they are just getting dredge-lined in these 5v5s.
The problem is that they don't really have like a solid foundation for frontline. They have basically all damage. And when you have all damage and no real frontline, it makes it incredibly easy for you to simply get bursted down, and that's exactly what Reppy and Cozy have been doing this entire game. But now, Dragon secured by Polestar. Morningstar White, we've seen this before. Don't throw at the Baron.
Well, they're burning it, and it should be dead soon, and it will. It actually went to 1 HP for half a second, but they'll secure it. Can they get out becomes the question. Keep in mind, Hitty is on the side lane, immediately starting to hit a tier 2, so how much does Polestar want to commit for these kills? Because they're losing on the other side of the map here. They're still hounding this tier 2 turret to try and chase down, but they only have Pika Pika, and they can't go that deep here. For Morningstar White, this just becomes a stall game now.
Yeah, but look at Soul in the mid lane as well. He decided to pivot after escaping that Baron play. Going mid lane, he's crashing down. He's going to take this tier 1. And suddenly Morningstar White are taking 2 towers. Polestar managed to get one in return. But a Baron and 2 towers, the ingenuity on this red team is absolutely crazy.
Hitty's teleporting in for the flank. Here comes Soul. He's coming back up here. They know Cozy isn't here. Now he has to teleport back in. This is pandemonium. The Death Lotus, though, just chunks Hitty. He can go in the Shroud. The Death Lotus will find him. First big kill. Double knockup. They find a B. Can they burn the Emilio healing? Cozy Campfire keeps him safe, and you should overestimate. Shut down over to Cozy. This game turns back and forth, but Reppy is still the one to fear. Godlike now on Summoner's Rift, and just letting Pika Pika know that he can walk away, but his team will fall around him.
And I think that the Baron buff is going to be able to, it's going to be the thing that saves Morningstar White most likely from this game, just straight up ending. They have Baron empowered minions, makes it really difficult for Polestar unless they have all 5 members to get through the tankiness of those empowered minions. They will, however, manage to get themselves an inhibitor, and Polestar fighting back from the engage that Morningstar White thought they had.
That's the problem with jumping onto Emilio. You're ignoring all the damage. And it's sneaky difficult to burn him down with heal, with Breath of Light up. He has that redemption as well. Just so much extra to burn through. And Yushin just couldn't get it done yet. This game keeps on adding chapters. I sound like a broken record, Quacks, but the gold lead still isn't as profound as you would figure with what we've seen from Polestar.
No, it really isn't. The gold lead really is only about 1,500 27 minutes into this game. And no dragon is spawning soon. We still have about 2.5 minutes on this Drake that would give Polestar the soul. Morningstar White, it's going to be up to them to try and look for picks, but that really does start with vision. It feels like every single time Morningstar White have thought they got a pick, there's just 2 more members from Polestar around the corner able to assist their teammates.
And Hitty just can't side lane against Reppy, but he likes his odds. Does dodge out a lot of the Death Lotus damage. And on the other side, they're just going on to Cozy. 3v1. Reppy has to go gold. Polestar are close to the party in time. Their top laner's down. Reppy can't win a 1v1 versus Hitty. They have to try something. What is the play here? Coling down. Metalstorm out. They get the knockup though onto the AD carry, but the Breath of Light keeps him safe. Yushin now looking for the turn and throw. Free firing onto Soul. He's cut off. Reppy shows up to the party and once again bails out Polestar for his 9th and 8th kills.
Yup, Polestar just continuously on it. It just feels like they're always trying to look for something. Morningstar White constantly looking for picks. They managed to get Cozy, but now their entire team is basically wiped. They have 2 members, Hitty, who is on the reset, and AH about to do the same as well. Just trying over and over to go for these plays, but they constantly overstep their bounds, and Polestar punish them for it every single time.
Like you mentioned, Quacks, they always have the right TPs. They are always there to just bring more members to the party, and it's what's hurting Morningstar with these pick plays. Hitty didn't have teleport, but Reppy did, and when he gets there, he has all the damage in store, and once you blow that, cease and desist, the Yushin ultimate, a lot of that extra CC, it does open up a Katarina to do exactly what Reppy has done time and time again to get to this scoreline.
Yeah, for sure. Reppy really showing up big on this Katarina, showing his proficiency and patience on the champion time and time again. And now, with the dragon spawning, this is Soul for Polestar. A very important dragon for them to get, and an even more important dragon for Morningstar White to try and deny. But that task is easier said than done. It is looking grim for the Morningstar White squad.
And they might have a pick. Soul has to go in defensively. Hitty, they burn down enthralled. He's already dead. Death Lotus down. Trade of 80 for support. Hitty forces the golden form out of Reppy, but Soul is way too low. Hitty getting barrage. AH is just a non-factor, no damage. It has to be Yushin, but he's turned on with the CC and burned. Down he falls. Cozy on a killing spree, and Polestar might have the knockout blow finally in hand.
Yup, no longer is the Baron buff active for Morningstar White. You don't get empowered minions, and I think Polestar are going to look to do what they could not do last game and close this game out cleanly. I can't close my words out cleanly though, as AH is in the base. Soul is here as well, but it doesn't look like they're going to end just yet. Try and maybe get a double inhibitor instead.
Have resets coming across. Soul maybe looking for an angle, but not a lot of vision. They don't know where Reppy is, and yep, they're just going to let him limp away. And where do they limp to? Actually, they're not
The
whipping.
Dragon.
They're triumphantly rocking right up towards a Soul Point Drake. As we get a look at that sick Baron animation once more.
It really is super cool. I really like it. I think it's one of the best changes that the game has ever made, to be honest with you.
I don't hate that take. And if you're Polestar, certainly don't hate having a Chemtech Soul now going forward.
Absolutely. And now what's to stop you from just going to the Baron? Yeah, you can see the blue side pings coming to the Baron, and Asher just looking to go for it. Now they'll have Soul and Baron. And realistically, what is stopping that at this point? 10-1 and 6, 6-3 and 7. Polestar, really, this is the last piece to their puzzle in order to close out game 2.
Last piece of the puzzle to get the bad taste out of their mouth from game number 1 here. Because by all accords, we thought we'd be coming in this one with a 1-0 lead for Polestar. And a Baron might be the one to end it here. You can see how bad the vision is for Morningstar. Can't really get in. Finally spot Baron down to half HP. But Haiti is channeling a recall. Soul is nowhere near. They're going to teleport in now. Soul might try and go for this. They're going to hold Prio. They like their 5v5 odds. And Kryra's showing it. Spearheading a change.
Dropping it.
Baron is going to reset. You got to go for a play here, Polestar. If you're going to let the Baron reset here, Yushin might be the target. Gets slowed, has to flash away. Cozy goes World Ender, but he might get popped. The healing is way too great, though, and now he's in the sweet spots. Soul falls, hitting in the background. Polestar finally get the late game fight they need for the win, and we're going the distance in Group C. 1-1, evened up by Polestar.
And Polestar saying, we are not going to chance it. We learned from our mistakes in game 1. We are not going for a 50-50 on the Baron. And they turn it into a fight that is uncontestedly won for them and will help them close out this second game, bringing us to the all-important match point in game 3.
This is going to be a heater. Fearless draft in all of its glory. Now on display from two teams evenly matched at the middle of Group C. We wouldn't have it any other way.
Absolutely not. Game 3 is shaping up to be a banger, and we expected a banger from these drafts in game 2, and a banger we got. So both of these teams really showing their ability to flex around, pick unconventional drafts, and overall just be a little bit unorthodox. And I think that that is exactly what Fearless Draft is sort of supposed to highlight. And so I think in game 3, that game 2 draft, if we thought that was weird, I would imagine game 3 is going to be even weirder. And I, for one, am so excited to see it.
Only one way to find out, Quacks. Let's get to the game number 3 draft. We'll see you guys in just a bit.